Have you ever felt like the universe was guiding you without you even having to think about it, and the right decisions come to you in the right moment? Well, you'll see in this episode that's exactly what happens to me as I'm creating this Gothic Cathedral piece and creating this sculpture made of copper wires that is weirdly connected to my new astrology rebirth that I talked about in the previous episode. And you'll see how I'm going deeper and deeper inside this art show that's coming for me in January, getting a lot of clarity towards what I'm actually creating and this kind of healing art that's coming through me. So if you're curious about the intersection of spirituality, healing, and art, I think this episode will be very interesting for you guys. Just wanted to show you guys how the guidance comes, because you just saw the time lapse. See what I just found on the floor? It's like something I just cut out, but let me show you from this. But what does it look like? It looks exactly for me like the top of these things, which are like on Gothic cathedrals, which are kind of like etheric condensers. They put on top, usually it's of copper. So I was like, okay, I see what's going on, which means this has to go here on top of this structure. There's gonna be one on each side, recalling that central, thing over there. So, isn't that beautiful how things just flow like that? You don't even have to try to plan it, you just have to find it. So, quick update. So now I've traced the whole, design of the curvature of this, so it's easier to bend, and now I'm just trying to bend it part by part. It's quite, my hands are so hurt from all that bending and stuff, but I have to work through it. So I'm actually using this couch. I put the thing under and I just bent it, and it helps a lot instead of just using the force of my hands, which creates lots of bruises. So I'll just be finishing this part up here, and then I have another big square like that over there to make this part. And I might have to buy another grid thing for this part here. I don't think I can describe the feeling that you get when you have these kind of mystical downloads that transform into physical art piece, that evolve into bigger art pieces, and that the symbolism just keeps kind of adding on, and finally seeing it all together. I mean, it's not finished, but I want to make this top part together, symbolizing God is like the point, and then it divides into two streams. In what we call love is like two streams, and then this flows down in the grid and finally is released out of the grid into the heart portal that she represents here with the kind of yoni shape. And then this rose symbolizes the heart as well. It will be painted the same color as this. And then it exits the grid. And there's going to be stars because this is like the tapestry of the sky. And then it becomes physical water. And I think I want to create these kind of triangles here. Well, actually the blue will be cut in triangles and it will be kind of overlapping this. And at the end here, I'm gonna do waves, kind of symbolizing physical water. So here we have it. And once again, I wanna create because this show is talking about so many of divine feminine archetypes from different traditions, and all of those I'm talking in my show are those I've had personal experiences with. And one of them that I have not put anywhere so far is the spider, which I learned from someone from my spiritual teacher that it represents this kind of spider woman that like weaves together fabric of space-time. So it would be cool to take like a thread, the same color of this, and in here have these kinds of lines that are all like merging into a centerpiece. And maybe in the center, like all the lines are going to be holding this kind of form that's lighting up, and hopefully it will be strong enough so that this grid kind of prints on the wall of the gallery. So today I'm gonna try to color match this color. Okay, so I just color matched and diluted my paint with some water. I'm gonna try something I've never tried before. So the idea is to drip the paint inside. So here it is. Pretty close. So I thought I would document this a little bit because I haven't been filming much the past few weeks. I'm on a road trip right now. We've driven from British Columbia all the way to Saskatchewan for my girlfriend's sister's wedding. And now we're on the way back in Banff National Park. So just thought I would share a little update about what's going on and why the art project is not advancing. It's been already 2 weeks since I've last filmed something, so but excited to share with you guys what's coming with the new podcast season. And now I've been releasing the art grant that I'm releasing with Rose Umbra and all the jury interviews that's on. So I've been also busy filming that and promoting it. So there you are, the National Park of Banff. How beautiful it is. I might be filming a bit more content on the road, so I'll share with you guys. I definitely don't have the right hiking shoes. This is the ghost town of Three Valley Lake Ghost Town. Oh, that's where there's like a wagon in this. We were swimming on top of some rails from an old train like tracks. This I just received all my essential oils because I'm gonna be making my own sort of perfume or smell for the show. And I ordered all those exotic flowers, and I'll be making little samples even for people visiting the show. I've also received all the gems so that I can make my little sculpture that's wrapped up here. This one. So we got some Tajet Minute, that's from Egypt. A lot of Egyptian essential oils, tea tree, blue tansy. This is actually blue, so I think I might use it to dye my candles. Geranium rosette. But I think for this show I want something very different. Not a common smell. This is the expensive one. This is more than $100 for a few drops of this rose essential oil that will be put inside of the mound. Just arriving at the Oyster River Potholes. So warm summer Sunday swim. First time coming here, so not too sure what to expect. So this is it. Lots of people.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I didn't hit 10 or 12 feet. Big.
No. as you guys can see, I'm now working. I'm gonna be trying to install those gems on the pillar and the statue. And I thought as I'm preparing, I would just describe a little bit what came through yesterday. It was a very intuitive thing to buy all the essential oils to do the oil. And I stumbled upon this guy on YouTube. The guy makes oil ointments to heal emotional trauma. And I realized that that's actually what I'm doing. I've been unconsciously kind of following the breadcrumbs, but it's actually leading me to make my own oil. So I've been going even deeper into it. So the mound is made of clay and it'll be mixed with cardamom, vetiver root powder, and some vetiver roots. So what this does is that this will create, like if you look at high perfumery, I was looking into it, it's always 3 steps. You have the base notes, which is often the earthy, heavy notes that don't dissipate as quickly when you put it on the skin, for example. The mid notes, so this is like most of the ingredients are mid, so they are in between. The high notes are more like camphor, I think that's the name, and citrus, all those kind of, I guess, high acidity that evaporate quickly, that create a very strong impact at first, but dissipate quickly to let the lower notes. So you'll enter the space and you'll have this base note already there in the space because of the mound. And then people will be invited to put the oil on their skin to create those 2 levels, and then also making a connection between the art piece and their own body, their own smell. And I was contemplating on the quote that I'm gonna use in the big screen. There's a big screen in the gallery where I have my show, and I'll put it here actually so you can see it. It's a text from Aleister Crowley's Book of the Law, a channeled text, and it's kind of the instructions he got, and it's from the goddess Nut. That's how he describes it. And it's like as if she's talking, and she says, "For I am divided for the sake of love, so that we can be united," something like that. And in some, it just means like she creates the polarities in the world so that we can find love and unite again. And this is just a very poetic but also very profound way of seeing it. And this whole project seems to be about that, a reconnecting with her, which is the unconscious mind, which is everything that you are not. And this, basically, it's also everything that you are when you die, which is connection with everything else. So in this way, when we are born, we're disconnected from this. And this project becomes a portal for people to heal this disconnection and this grief that comes from being disconnected from this. So the smell becomes the link between both hemispheres. And in this same way, people can get this little bottle of ointment, of oil that's going to be based with jojoba oil, and bring it back home to continue the grieving, because smell holds memory. So once this unique smell will be used inside this healing space I'm creating, it will be useful to use it to continue the healing. So it'll have a real purpose. And then I've been looking at, my last experience that I think I described earlier. I just went online and I found this guy that makes all his niche little essential oils, and I just bought 20 different that I've just felt intuitively called to. And then I looked up of their properties, and weirdly, almost half of them have very emotional trauma healing properties. Now, one is called Immortal, and it's linked with healing, wounds, but not just physical wounds, emotional wounds as well. So I'll be blending all of those oils in an attempt to create a smell, but more than that, something that actually holds properties, healing properties when applied on the skin. So it'll be like a multi-dimensional healing process that I was describing this the other day. It feels like the more ingredients I'm setting up, even with these gems and all the structure of the work together, the symmetrical layout of the space, it's almost like I'm mapping it inside my mind and activating it like an egregore. So like this space that I'm creating already exists, and I'm just giving it a physical location so that people can enter this mental space I'm connected to by seeing what I'm seeing mentally in the physical space. So it will really hold a specific charge that is not just random, like almost like going to a hockey game in your local city and seeing all those minds connected together for one purpose. It creates a very powerful energy, and this same type of energy will be used for healing purposes with this space. So yeah, these are the most recent updates, and now I'll be working with, I just got this, so it's red coral. This will be used for the base. It's so cool. So it's like fossilized, and I bought even this because I made myself an emerald ring, because this new entity, which is kind of like the idea of my higher self, well, his qualities when he was born, which I noted in my last experience and made a Vedic astrology chart, is Gemini, like a Gemini ruled by Mercury as a sun sign. And my rising is Gemini, and Gemini is the link between heaven and earth in a way. Like it's the in-between states where you become a channel for the higher dimensions, and that's what he represents here. And this gem will be symbolically the link between this new kind of programmed astrological entity and me. So he's gonna have his own emerald on his, I don't know where I'm gonna put it yet, but this is gonna be how there'll be kind of a sync between both of our auric fields, I would say. On the other hand, his little snake third eye, just I have to reglue it. So just troubleshooting, I just realized I never had bought red ruby for the heart chakra, so I just bought this, and now I found this copper wire. I'll be trying to put it through the base of this with one strand of the wire connecting to all the 7 chakras coming from the crown, and then entering this guy's feet and somehow going through all the chakras here all the way to the third eye and the crown. So wish me luck. It's kind of like excavation at this point, but I want it to be all connected to this wire that is one of the best conductor for, energy, electricity. It's kind of hard to explain how it feels like after not knowing this was gonna work and all the synchronicities that just happened. Passing this cable, at first in this base there was all this kind of plastic, and it felt like it would be impossible to dig up like the whole thing, but I was almost abandoning, and then I managed to take out all this layer. And here there's actually, the way the inside of this part is made, it's like a square tube that just goes all the way straight to the top. So once I did the first part, it was just so easy, it just slid all the way to the center here. And then same thing with this one. I had to manage to find the perfect center here very intuitively, and it just went right in. And with all these wires dangling like that, it looks so electric. That's what I wanted to feel like. There's a current passing from the base, from this little wire all the way to the top. And what I did, so there's 12 wires, because this is again the merging of the 12 and the 7, which you see in this sacred geometry here. The 12 and the 7 petals, the dark ones, there's 7. The 7 is the feminine, the masculine is the 12, and they unite. And so I was trying to pass all these whole wires up the tube, which is kind of the spinal column, the energy center of our body, it wouldn't fit. And then again, I intuitively know, okay, that's because there's only 7 that has to pass through. So here you have the 7 wires. I'm gonna pass some more copper wires in every one of those. So they will all be technically wired. You know, the crystals and all these gems will actually touch. Just got to the farm and I'm sending a print that's gonna look like this turtle. It's a high definition turtle and it's gonna be used in the mound in the dark. So you're gonna have like the actual turtle in the mound and you're gonna just kneel down through your forehead, third eye, on the Lapis Lazuli that's on the shell of the turtle. So by contemplating that in a ritualistic act, you're gonna be connecting with the universe. And Adam on the other side is working on the hinges. It worked.
These are our hinge pins for now.
So the frame now opens and closes. So next step, we're gonna have to find some better bolts here and just take out all those metal things to make it look clean before we get it painted and assembled. And now time to install the most precious and important gem of this piece. It's called the emerald. For me, it's the most important because it'll symbolically, well, in my personal astrological chart and the chart of the rebirth that this character represents, Mercury is the main planet that's influencing both. So my rising sign is Gemini, and this character was born when the soul sun was in Gemini. So this emerald is the strongest planet. In astrology, Gemini is the dual sign, and in its best form, it's the sign of being able to communicate between the physical and the material, the spiritual and the material realms, like an infinity sign that's vertical. And otherwise, it's all about communication of spiritual truth if this exchange is happening, or if not, it's usually it's people that know a lot of things, you know, like they know a lot about a lot of subjects, which can just sometimes just be noise. So that's why the spiritual aspect of Gemini is very important. And here it is. So I got the quartz, emerald, cat's eye, what is it called this again? Hematite, golden hematite. So I'm just back from a little night swim and I'm gonna put the last gem, the red coral that goes on the back of the character. So it's now sort of ready. There's still 2 gems to arrive so that I can finish it, but I'm gonna try to create some sort of carrying case with these boxes, because it's very fragile now with all those gems coming out. So there we go. So I wanted to document this today. I'm working, I have my parents home for 3 weeks, so I set up this little studio, finish up a few artworks that needed to be finished. I found this piece. I'm gonna test to do a base for this. But what I want to show you today, I just dropped my Lapis Lazuli. I've been trying for the past week to figure out how, because I want to make this as a kind of activation piece where the Lapis Lazuli piece will be put on this turtle that I 3D printed. And it will be put in the dark in the mound so that you can kind of bow down and put your third eye on your forehead on the Lapis Lazuli as a sign of contemplating on the feminine mysteries that are encoded on the shell of the turtle. But then I just moved this plank and the rock fell into this piece. And that was my big issue, is like, because it's so big, it's hard to fit on there. And then it just broke and this piece came out. So I'm thinking it feels like it's very symbolic that the piece has to go like on its head, something like this. So maybe I'll do a hole and its head will be made of lapis lazuli. So you're gonna actually like bow down to it, like as if it's there in front of you. So to follow the concept of where I filmed this piece, which was kind of in the back of an old mechanic, rusty metal shop, I found this big pine, I think that's pine, in this pile of old wood. So now I'm gonna be tracing out that design I had done. Maybe having to adapt it for the size of this piece of wood, which is not exactly as long, but I'm gonna be tracing it and probably cutting it out tomorrow. So I forgot to record this, so I'm gonna just show you guys. It's a very intuitive drawing. I had a basic plan, but I kind of improvised. That's where the best things happen. So this will be the inner basin that I'm gonna carve in, but there'll be like a slope going inwards like this. So around this little edge will be the deepest part. It'll be also a slope this way and this way. So all the points will kind of converge to here. So I'm gonna drip from the face of the Virgin Mary. She's gonna be crying tears of wax, landing here and dripping, accumulating along this wall. And then I decided to put 3 steps. So there'll be like, you'll look from, if you look from here, like there is like 3 steps to get to this kind of huge wall of adoration. Bonus footage, look at this nice sunset and this little pink cloud. Can't see very well. So finally, here it is. I got it back here in my studio. It's gonna look super cool. Today I'm gonna carve, make sure that this is well fitted inside. So there'll be like grooves so that it sits a bit lower. And then I'm gonna have fun just carving those stairs. I'm imagining this big palace. So carve down those stairs with this tool that I've never used before, and then I might take my Dremel to try just do details. I don't know what yet, but I'm gonna have fun with it. So finished this part already, and I'm very happy with it. So as you can see, the idea, because the feminine, Virgin Mary represents also like water, and everything that travels through energy, like in waves, like emotions. So her tears are gonna fall in here. A rose, which represents life from like the heart, opens up here. And then there's kind of like this ripple that you can imagine just the energy, her energy backwards and forwards to the stairs, are like the tears are gonna probably overflow and go down here. The tears of wax, and then the energy ripples out into the entire universe. And today I'm gonna be trying a new technique. It's actually a Japanese technique, and it's called Shu Sugi ban. And basically you take fire, a torch, and you just brush the wood with it. And then you take a harder bristled brush and you just take out all the top layer. So it creates this burnt look that I think will go super well with the metal, but also with the concept of having this kind of fire activated water, which gives the energy to the water to ripple out. So using the actual elements. And this is Plan B, Danish oil, which is a dark oil. So if that doesn't work, I'll just use this oil to protect the wood and create a darker tint so it's not as like contrasted here. And then I bought this spirulina yesterday. It has a nice hue to it, like it looks greener here, but inside you can see that it's actually very blue-green. Maybe you can't see actually, but... So I bought this and I bought another one and I'm receiving today, which is very blue, so that I can do tests mixing with the yellow-orange beeswax to create the perfect hue that will fit the robe of the Virgin Mary that will be pasted here. So today, tests and charring. Something I realized while doing work for a while now, sometimes as I'm in the middle of the process, I just feel the need to clean everything. So like just vacuum, put some incense, create a mood, create a clean surface. And it feels it's always just as I'm about to start a new process. So I've just made 2 tests. So I'm gonna show you guys. This is the heavily charred. So you see it's very black. And up here is just lightly, so you see more of the grain. But I'm gonna try brushing this part just to see what it would look like if I then brush it. Have different versions. Alright, so I tried different techniques, and here is with the oil what it looks like. Let's see better this way. So it just makes these highlights a bit darker, and here you can almost not see it in the... So it's nice, but maybe a bit too busy. Might look nicer all dark. I just realized when I'm gonna put this varnish, it's going to become more orange. And guess what's orange? Rust. And this piece will remain kind of untreated because I do want it to age. So you have this kind of rusted patina with time that's going to start to install itself, and it's going to color match perfectly. So this will be like an aging process, like it's going to be alive. It'll change with time and become more and more kind of united, these 2 pieces together, which is mind-blowing. I could never have planned this. How cool this is, like these kind of like swirls of energy. Can't believe it. Oh, it almost looks, it does look like a bird too. Wow. It's like the same color. See it better here. Thanks for watching part 1 of this installation creation. In the next episode you're gonna see the process being completed that you've started to see emerge in this episode. So I'll see you very soon.